difference between these two guys?
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and said he's got good power. Not even and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life, been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just going to knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing him.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely that it is, like you just said, decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out, no.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
no.
Obviously, no?
Hell no, nah. That ain't really like... I mean, like I said, here's the thing. Like, I got two sides of me when it comes down to I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me to be like, okay, I want to watch it.
Showbiz the Adult pointed out that Gervonta "Tank" Davis has already shown he can deal with opponents who are taller and naturally bigger, referencing his dominant win over Ryan Garcia. He reminded fans that Garcia wasn't just taller, he was also quick and explosive. Yet Tank managed to adjust, find his rhythm, and finish the fight convincingly. According to the YouTuber and analyst, if Tank was able to close the distance against someone as skilled and seasoned as Ryan Garcia, then Jake Paul wouldn't present a new challenge. While Jake's physical size might look like an advantage on paper, Showbiz emphasized that boxing is a game of distance, timing, and intelligence inside the ring, areas where Tank Davis shines. He believes Tank has perfected the ability to read his opponent's movements and set traps, and that once Jake steps into the ring with him, those skills will quickly take over.
You do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage, and he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know.
Several boxing experts have made it clear Jake Paul wouldn't stand much of a chance against Gervonta "Tank" Davis. According to Shakur Stevenson, Jake's size advantage might look impressive on paper, but it wouldn't be enough to overcome Tank's elite skill set and experience. Shakur believes Davis would control the fight from start to finish, using his precision and ring IQ to stay ahead. While a knockout might be difficult given Jake's size and toughness, Stevenson predicts Tank would still dominate the matchup and cruise to a clear decision victory.
Emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at them. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him. I saw Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I wanna say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgardner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minute, 12 rounds is Alicia Baumgardner. And I really know if I have a great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. Because, what's her name, Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia, so that's a perfect dance partner for that. Try to drag Alicia Baumgardner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra. And then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you
100%,
Pappy?
yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
Chris Algieri has praised Gervonta Tank Davis for his remarkable ability to capture massive attention every time he fights. He explained that modern boxing isn't just about technical ability anymore, it's also about who can generate excitement and fill arenas. In Algieri's view, Tank represents that new wave of star power. Whenever he competes, he brings an energy that connects with both hardcore boxing fans and casual audiences alike. Algieri also noted that Jake Paul, despite not having Tank's technical pedigree, has played a similar role in reigniting mainstream interest in the sport. His involvement has drawn in a fresh audience, people who may have never followed boxing before. Algieri believes that both fighters, in their own ways, are helping keep boxing relevant by appealing to different types of fans.
YouTube boxing and what people say is going on in the media, without a doubt, I think Charleston White is 100% right about that. Don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe anything you see. Wait to see how things play out, and ultimately everything will come out in the wash. Well, going into this fight with Gervonta Davis, I had my concerns about the fight because of the same type of reasoning that Charleston White used, except for mine is slightly different. I don't think that either one of these guys are going to try to do too much damage to each other. Number one, because if it's scripted, which more than likely to an extent it will be, Gervonta Davis is not going to put himself in a situation where Jake Paul is going to actually be able to hurt him. And with these 12-ounce gloves on top of Gervonta Davis's hands, which is bigger, 2 ounces bigger, I do believe.
Teddy Atlas, one of boxing's most respected analysts, drew comparisons between a potential matchup of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis and the exhibition where Jake's brother Logan faced Floyd Mayweather. Atlas noted that while Jake may hold a noticeable size and strength advantage, it's Tank's experience and mastery of the craft that would ultimately decide the fight. He described Davis as a dancer in the ring, a fighter who dictates rhythm, tempo, and momentum with effortless control. Throughout his career, Tank has faced high-level opposition and developed the instincts to dismantle any opponent, no matter their physical stature. Atlas emphasized that boxing isn't determined by muscle or mass, but by timing, precision, and control. Every move Tank makes is deliberate. Every punch serves a purpose. In contrast, Atlas suggested that Jake Paul still lacks the refined awareness and sharpness required to compete at that level.
About the face of boxing could be Jake Paul soon, and the face of boxing is basically. Yeah, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again, these are created products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate. Okay, it's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set and all over your phone and all over. You know what, bro? You're gonna start to get curious about the shoe.
Charleston White has openly criticized Jake Paul's boxing career, calling it more of an entertainment act than a true athletic journey. In his view, Jake's fights don't resemble genuine professional bouts, but rather well-produced spectacles designed to attract attention and profit. White argues that Jake has yet to face a legitimate elite boxer capable of truly testing his skill, stamina, and ring awareness. His comments echo the sentiments of many boxing traditionalists who feel Jake is using the sport as a platform for branding rather than as a serious craft. White believes that if Jake were ever to share the ring with someone like Gervonta Tank Davis, the gap in talent would be undeniable. Davis's world-class experience, reflexes, and championship-level training would quickly expose Jake's limitations. For Charleston, popularity and showmanship can't replace authenticity, because legends aren't made through exhibitions, but through real hard-fought battles.
So I liked this when I heard it. No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch. And he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have the bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air? Bang!
Showbiz the Adult also spoke about Gervonta Tank Davis's personality outside the ring. He acknowledged that Tank might not be the most polished speaker or businessman, but that's not where his power comes from. Tank's confidence is rooted in his background, growing up in an environment that demanded real toughness, not rehearsed words. Showbiz noted that Tank's demeanor during press events reveals everything you need to know. He never appears nervous, intimidated, or under pressure. When he faces an opponent, his calm but intense presence speaks volumes without him having to say much. While Jake Paul is a master at using the spotlight and media to build hype, Showbiz emphasized that Tank's aura doesn't depend on marketing. It comes naturally from who he is and what he's been through.
All of a sudden, we want to know, who will win in this fight? Jake Paul or Tank Davis? It's a legit question. And I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win. Because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank too little. That's what I'm saying. That weight class is for a reason.
Davis
that weight class is for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30 pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30 pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen versus Jake and
Despite all the criticism, many fans admit that Jake Paul's presence in boxing has brought a new level of excitement to the sport. His fights spark both debate and anticipation, creating a mix of skepticism and curiosity that keeps people watching. While some traditionalists dismiss his bouts as publicity stunts designed for profit, others recognize that he's managed to inject fresh energy into a sport that often struggles to capture mainstream attention. Jake Paul has a rare ability to get people talking, whether they tune in to cheer him on or hope to see him lose. Every time his name is linked to a matchup, the spotlight follows. That unpredictability, the question of what might happen next, gives boxing a sense of drama it hasn't seen in years. Even longtime fans admit that Jake's polarizing persona and willingness to take risks have reignited public interest, proving that the sport still thrives on big personalities and rivalries.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage. And he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know. It's kind of like taking a guy from the block and putting him in the corporate world in a business meeting. He's going to be so out of his element that he's just, he doesn't even know how to argue without sounding like, I'm gonna whoop your ass, I'm gonna beat you. The way Jake was doing things, he had the clowns coming out.
Not everyone is convinced that Gervonta Tank Davis would easily defeat Jake Paul. Some boxing analysts have cautioned fans to stay realistic and remember why weight divisions exist in the first place. They argue that while Tank's power and explosiveness are exceptional within the lightweight and super featherweight divisions, stepping up against a naturally much heavier opponent changes the dynamics entirely. Boxing, they remind, is still governed by physics. A fighter who normally competes at 135 pounds facing someone who walks around near 190 pounds would be at a clear disadvantage in size, strength, and endurance. These analysts suggest that Tank's trademark knockout power might not translate the same way against a man of Jake's size. Even if Davis lands clean, Jake's larger frame could absorb those shots differently, making the fight far more challenging than many expect.